Ready for a deep dive? We're talking bathroom tech, specifically those electronic bidet toilets. You know, the kind that have like taken Japan by storm, but haven't really caught on in other places, like Indonesia, for example. And why is that? Well, we've got a whole stack of research here ready to kind of break it down and figure that out.
Yeah, it's really a tale of two toilet cultures, you know? And what's interesting is the bidet toilet actually started right here in the U.S.
Oh, really?
Yeah, as a medical device, actually. It was pretty basic back then, designed mainly for hospitals and people who needed help with, well, personal hygiene. And then in 1964, they were introduced to Japan.
Oh, okay. But
Yeah.
that wasn't the turning point, was it? I mean, you have TOTO coming in, this Japanese company,
Right.
with like a vision, right, for like the future of the bathroom. And they took that simple American design, the wash air seat, and they like totally revolutionized it.
Right.
And they renamed it the washlet.
Exactly. And their key innovation, electronic controls. They gave you control over water temperature, pressure, even the air drying, all at your fingertips. This wasn't just a toilet anymore. It was like a personalized experience.
Yeah, I mean, it really is amazing how the washlet became this cultural phenomenon in Japan.
It is.
I mean, over 60% of Japanese households have one. It's incredible. So what was it about their marketing that made it such a hit?
Well, TOTO was very strategic. They knew they had to overcome, the initial ick factor of this newfangled toilet.
Yeah.
So they focused on reliability and user friendliness because, I mean, no one wants a tech malfunction in that department, right?
That's a good point. Yeah, I can imagine. Like a bad experience with a high-tech toilet could really turn people off to the whole idea.
Absolutely. But their real stroke of genius, I think, was giving free trials to plumbers.
Oh.
Think about it, right? Plumbers are the ones installing these things. So they become like trusted advisors. TOTO even created a washlet map so people could find places to try them out. It was brilliant word-of-mouth marketing, I think.
That's so clever. Yeah, it's like turning your installers into like brand ambassadors almost. But you can't forget about the marketing campaigns themselves. I mean, that iconic 1982 commercial with the tagline, "Even your buttocks want to be washed."
Right.
I mean, that really cemented the washlet's place in pop culture, didn't it?
It absolutely did. And from there, it was off to the races. Competitors jumped on the bandwagon and the innovations just kept coming. Ozone deodorization, water-saving features, and even integrated toilets like the TOTO Z series and the Apricot with even more advanced controls and functions.
Yeah, it sounds like the evolution of the smartphone.
Right.
But for your bathroom. But here's the thing. If the washlet is such a smash hit in Japan, why hasn't it like taken over the world? I mean, who wouldn't want a toilet that practically pampers you?
Right. Well, that's where it gets interesting. The washlet's struggles in places like Indonesia really highlight what experts call the diffusion chasm. You see, it's not just about having a good product. There are all sorts of barriers that can prevent a new idea from catching on.
Okay. So what are some of those barriers that the washlet is facing? What makes Indonesia so different from Japan?
Yeah.
In terms of adopting this technology?
Well, first there's the economic aspect, The GDP per capita in Indonesia is significantly lower than in Japan. Washlets are a luxury item, and in a developing country, they might not be a priority for most people.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you're worried about basic necessities, a high-tech toilet might seem like an extravagance, but I'd imagine there's more to it than just cost, right?
You're right. There are also physical barriers. Washlets aren't widely available in Indonesia. There's a lack of after-sales service, and people just aren't familiar with them. Imagine walking into a store and seeing this futuristic toilet. It could be intimidating.
Yeah, I can see how that unfamiliarity would be a hurdle, even for someone who's tech savvy. I mean, the high tech toilet is a whole different ballgame. But wouldn't you think that the hygiene benefits alone would be a major selling point?
You think so? But there are also what are called cognitive barriers. People need to understand the benefits and get over the idea that these things are complicated to use. Then there are the less obvious, what we call affective barriers. People's attitudes and motivations. In Indonesia, status symbols are a big deal, particularly electronics. But maybe a high-tech toilet doesn't hold the same cachet as, say, the latest smartphone.
Hmm. So it's not just about practicality. It's about how people perceive the product and how it fits into their lives. And I imagine cultural factors play a big role too, right? Especially in a place like Indonesia, where there are strong traditions and religious practices.
Absolutely. Indonesia's predominantly wet bathrooms pose a challenge for electrical outlets, for example. And Islamic cleanliness rituals, which emphasize water use, might clash with the perceived function of a washlet. So you've got this intersection of cultural norms, existing infrastructure, and perceptions, all influencing how people view this new technology.
Interesting. So we've got this fascinating product, the washlet. It's like a cultural icon in Japan, but it's facing an uphill battle in Indonesia. It sounds like a classic diffusion chasm scenario. But is it a lost cause? Is there any way to bridge that gap and introduce the wonders of the washlet to a wider audience?
It's definitely not a lost cause. There are several strategies that could help increase adoption, and they address those barriers that we just discussed. For example, remember those cognitive barriers we talked about? People not understanding the benefits or thinking that washlets are too complicated.
Well, education is key here.
So it's about more than just showcasing the fancy features, right? You have to really explain how these things can improve people's lives.
Exactly. Emphasize the hygiene benefits, the comfort, the overall improved bathroom experience. Highlight, the adjustable water pressure.
Yeah.
And temperature controls, the warm air drying. This is about more than just a toilet. It's about
personal well-being. This is what researchers call Proposition 1, focusing on the value proposition.
So create that aha moment for people where they realize, hey, this isn't just a gimmick. It's something that could genuinely make my life better.
Exactly. And once you've sparked that interest, Proposition 2 focuses on familiarity. Showcase washlets in public places.
Yeah.
Like high-end malls, hotels, even airports. Let people experience them firsthand.
Okay, that's a smart strategy. Kind of like test driving a car before you buy it. But even if people are convinced, they still have to be able to to buy one, right?
Absolutely. That brings us to Proposition 3, distribution. Expand the retail network. Beyond just those big distributors. Make washlets available in more stores, online retailers. Maybe even partner with bathroom renovation companies.
Okay, so it's about making them more accessible, both physically and in terms of where people shop. But accessibility is only part of the equation, right? You also need to target the right audience.
Exactly. Proposition 4 focuses on targeting affluent early adopters, those who are more likely to embrace new technology and who have the financial means to invest in a washlet. They can be the trendsetters, the ones who influence others.
Yeah, I can see how that could create a ripple effect if the in crowd is using washlets, it becomes more desirable. But even with targeted marketing, doesn't culture still play a role?
It absolutely does, which is why Proposition 5 emphasizes customization, adapt features to local preferences and cultural norms. For example, in Indonesia, a heated seat might not be as appealing as in colder climates. So maybe focus on water saving features or highlight the cleansing aspect in a way that aligns with Islamic traditions.
So it's about acknowledging cultural nuances and tailoring the product and marketing accordingly. But even with all these strategies in place, what about those infrastructure challenges we talked about, the unreliable electricity and water supply in some regions? I mean, that could still be a major roadblock, couldn't it?
You're right. That's where Proposition 6 comes in. While companies can't single-handedly fix infrastructure problems, they can advocate for improvements, partner with governments, utility providers, even community organizations to promote stable water and electricity as essential for
economic development
and public health.
So it's not just about selling a product; it's about being part of a larger effort to improve
living standards.
Exactly, addressing those infrastructural issues would benefit everyone, not just washlet users. It's about creating a win-win situation.
It's amazing how how the washlet story goes beyond just a simple bathroom fixture. It touches on
Yeah.
cultural differences,
Yeah.
economic realities, and the challenges of bringing innovation to the world. But it also makes you wonder, what's next? What does the future hold for bathroom technology?
That's a great question. It seems like the only limit is our imagination, really. We're already seeing toilets with features like automatic lid opening, self-cleaning functions, and even remote controls. Imagine taking the personalization of the washlet and combining it
Yeah.
with the connectivity of our smartphones.
Oh wow, that's mind blowing. Toilets that are as smart as our phones. What kind of features are we talking about? Well, think voice assistants that can adjust settings
Yeah.
based on your preferences, personalized cleansing programs, maybe even built-in health monitoring systems that analyze your waste and give you insights into your well-being.
Okay, a toilet that doubles as a health tracker. That sounds incredibly futuristic, but also a little unnerving, to be honest. I can't help but think about, privacy concerns with all that personal data
Yeah.
being collected.
Yeah, you raise a valid point. As bathroom technology gets more sophisticated, we absolutely need to have serious conversations about data security
Yeah.
and ethical considerations. It's not just about what's technologically possible, but what's responsible and protects user privacy.
Right, exactly. Innovation shouldn't come at the expense of our personal information. And while we're on the topic of responsibility, we can't forget about sustainability. We've talked about, water saving features.
Right.
But as these toilets become, more high tech, it's crucial to ensure that they're environmentally friendly.
Absolutely. Sustainable innovation is essential. We need to consider the entire life cycle of these products, from the materials used to the energy consumption, and ensure they have minimal environmental impact.
So it seems like the future of bathroom tech is a mixed bag. On the one hand, there's this incredible potential for innovation and improved well-being. But on the other hand, there are valid concerns about, privacy, ethics,
Yeah.
and sustainability that we need to address.
That's a great way to sum it up. The washlet's journey, from its humble beginnings to its current status as a cultural icon, shows us that technological advancement is a process. It's not always smooth sailing, right? There will be challenges and hurdles to overcome.
But it's a journey worth taking. After all,
Totally.
who wouldn't want a bathroom experience that's more comfortable, hygienic, and sustainable? And maybe someday we'll look back and wonder how we ever lived without those smart toilets. Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us.
It's been a pleasure exploring this
Okay.
fascinating topic. The next time you
Yeah.
you step into your bathroom, take a moment to appreciate the technology, even the simple stuff. And who knows, maybe we'll all be using those voice activated health tracking toilets sooner than we think.